This is a presentation of the United States Australian Football League, the USAFL.
Okay, fullback. Okay. Alex C, back pocket. Okay.
Hey, voice. All right. Use your voice all day. Use your voice, okay? Swannaroos on three. 1, 2, 3. Swannaroos. Let's go, boys. 1, 2, 3, 3.
Strong in that order was fantastic.
From Dairy Fields in beautiful Dublin, Ohio, this is the 2024 USAFL Super Regionals, the best of the East and Central regions of this 50-team league, supporting the great sport of Australian rules football in the United States. Good morning, everyone. I'm Brian Barish, alongside former USA Revolution player, current coach, and a former member of too many teams for us to mention, including most recently the Wisconsin Wombats, Dan Sarbacker. Dan, good morning to you. Nashville versus St. Louis in this first game. How do you see it?
Classic Midwest matchup. These clubs both have a long history in the league. I've not laid eyes on either of them lately, but saw a few of the players out yesterday for a training, so I'm just keen to see how it goes. First game of the day.
St. Louis, they are technically the St. Louis AFC. Their nickname is the Blues. There seems to be another team that plays the sport very well called the Blues. So they're the Blues in quotation marks. And then the Kangaroos are in the white jumpers with the blue trim. And it seems like every year or two they get new uniforms, and they look almost like the North Melbourne Kangaroos, at least in uniform anyway. I wouldn't say that they look as they are in terms of play, considering they only have one win in the AFL season.
Yeah, there's some rebuilding there for sure.
We're underway here. Remember, we're playing two 20-minute halves. This is Division 3. There's 3 men's divisions and a women's division. And in the 3 men's divisions, it's 3 round-robin games of two 20-minute halves. The team with the best record will win and be named champion, as we have a whistle and a free kick going the other way for Nashville.
Yeah, hot off the start. A couple of the restarts have been great. A really hard tackle there. Ball's been tied up in the middle of the field in neutral ground for the most part.
All over the hands as James Duty had it. Was off the hands of William Proctor. Proctor, one of a number of players that the selectors are keeping an eye on for the Transatlantic Cup. Team USA going up to Toronto in August to play 5 other teams, SARS.
Yeah, a lot of guys in consideration for that. This is one of those big weekends that helps the selection committee for players for those types of events.
And big mark there, taken there by the number 19 for Nashville.
So the tackling's been hot already. Two big tackles early from a lot of hustle chase.
So free kick upcoming here, and a chance for our first score of this morning, which is supposed to be a little warm but not too bad as he sets back. The kick is up on the way. It's a wounded duck of a ball, and it's going right into the post. It was, in fact, a Wilbur post, and that is our first score on the Watch AFL scoreboard. Watch AFL, you can stream all the matches in the AFL and AFLW. Nashville leads 1-0. These two teams, it's only 64 degrees, SARS. These two teams, the benefit of some really nice weather so far.
Yeah, it's actually a beautiful morning, and they'd be happy to get a game under their belt in a little bit cooler weather. Some other teams might suffer with the heat we're expecting later in the day.
Ball goes to the ground, going to get picked up, shuffling to the inside. Big tackle from behind, and he's gone. It almost looked like it could have been borderline high, but a great job by the man number 3 there for St. Louis, and it'll be a free kick to the Blues.
Yeah, great tackling, great pressure in both directions at this point, and both sides really not willing to give up much, which is awesome to see, right? First bounce in the morning.
Duty takes the mark over the top, goes into the middle. Duty is the captain of this side, finding Cody McLean, another good American. A lot of Americans on this team. There's maybe a handful of Australians, and we should mention, SARS, members of the Cleveland Cannons playing on this Nashville side. 7 players making the trip down. Cleveland, this is their first appearance at regionals of any sort in 8 years.
Yeah, it's one of the awesome parts about these events is travel is always a bit of a burden, but clubs that are a little light end up combining, but players can still get a run then.
Ball down, umpire crosses his arms. We'll have a ball up directly across from us. Just underway here in this first half. Ball goes up on the far side. Nashville, the top seed in this group. St. Louis rather is the number 4 seed. And St. Louis, by the way, playing with players from Cincinnati, 1 from Indianapolis. Derek Shotwell, who is the MVP of the Division II best and fairest in the Super Regionals last year, playing with Nashville, oddly enough, and they were a combination with DC. And he's a really good player, Sars. He brings a lot of athleticism to the fray.
Yeah, and he's become a student of the game. So I was involved with him in the Level 2 coaching accreditation this past year. So he's committed himself to his footy in a lot of different angles.
Ball goes down. Oh, that was a dangerous tackle over the back, though. No call. And it was a good bump, the way that you, any way you look at it. The umpire says, give that to me. We'll have a ball up. It'll occur directly across from us. And the Kangaroos lead 1-0. First of 9 games today. 3 games we'll have for you in Division 3, 3 for Division 2, 3 for Division 1. And, of course, we'll have the women's division with Tim Continenza over on the other field there. And the ball gets picked up. Here comes St. Louis. I think that's Orion Peterson, number 34. We do not have numbers for the St. Louis side, which, it's typical USAFL fashion. As this one is kicked up onto the left. Oh, good spoil by Duty, who's been all over the place.
Tell you, that was a critical play you made there to spoil that mark. Otherwise, the Blues are away. They'd strung together 5 or 6 passes at that point.
Bo Howell picked that one up, shoveled back into the middle. Gonna get picked up, big swing and a miss. Then soccered off the ground. Good job to get that away and avoid getting called for kicking in danger. And staying that one on and able to boom that one out. Good job there by Andrew Leekert. And then picked up by McLean. McLean handballs it back. Tried to go low. Off the side of the foot, using the middle of the ground, and right there, a nice catch and probably a costly turnover for the Blue Stars.
Yeah, what's actually working really well, after some of the loose balls, the handballs been able to link up and then get that kick away. What's happening, though, is the packs are forming extremely quickly afterwards after that ball in flight.
McLean sends this ball down to the top of the goal square now, and here comes the Kangaroos. Good job out the back. He's going to pick this one up, turn for goal. That's going to be awfully close. The goal umpire did a little shimmy, and the 2-finger salute. Ian Eastwood with a great play to shove his man aside. Pick up the ball. It was from an acute angle, about as acute as my 4-year-old daughter. But on the Watch AFL scoreboard, Nashville goes to 1-1-7. St. Louis, no score.
Yeah, back and forth affair. Just really actually outstanding effort on both sides. The pressure tackling, the intent to get the football. Even the desperation from the Blues there just didn't quite, in the end, clear the ball out of the goal square, and Nashville gets a chance out of it.
Eastwood has all 7 points for the Kangaroos, team that has not lost so far this season. A record of, they have 1 loss. They're 5-1, but they're coming off 3 straight victories at the Three Rivers Cup, which was down in Rome, Georgia. Ball goes to ground, pick that one up, and then turns this one inside, looking for the top of the goal square. And that one has sailed away out of bounds, as that was the man in Luke Messiano from one of the Cleveland players who sent that out on the full. It's amazing, with a team that's been away for 8 years, you would tend to think there would be a lot of new players. A lot of players have come back from Cleveland, and that's great to see. Again, a team that essentially was dormant for about 7 years, and Stu Pendergrass, who used to play for DC, moved into the area and helped kickstart the Cannons again.
Yeah, Brian, you're well connected around the league, and you talk to lots of folks. I think every club has had their own journey back from COVID and the turmoil that caused for everyone. So everyone's had a bit of their own experience with that.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, we've had some clubs. It's amazing how many clubs have come back, and St. Louis was one of those club stars. I know you had played for it a while ago, but at one point about 10 years ago, it was down to 1 or 2 players. In fact, Dave Zicko, who I think might be out there, I don't see him in this occasion, but he's played the last few years. he was essentially keeping the Blues name alive.
Yeah, you're 100% right. We won a few premierships in my time there. That was 20 plus years ago, and a handful of the Revo players that came up through that program when I was there as well, and that club had really fallen off. But Dave was the key, man. He kept that together, and he's really rebuilt this. So it's awesome to see these numbers out.
Yeah, that's a number of Rich Lozano has come back, the head coach. Jake Bowling, who hasn't played in the last couple of years, but he really helped amplify the club, and he's a radio DJ, and his promotion of the club actually helped bring people in, including Emma Lewell, who plays on the women's side. She and her husband heard it on the radio and about the team in St. Louis, and they joined, and so many other people have gotten involved.
And to reward their efforts, a Division IV title 2 years ago at Nationals.
Yeah.
So premiership flag for them.
And, of course, their members, as Duty comes through, he'll look into the middle of the ground as this one drops in front. They, of course, all those years alongside the Cincinnati Dockers, big tackle put in there by Mo Howell. And the umpire says that is mine. We'll have a ball up right in front of Dan Sarbacker and I. Craig Campbell has made the trip once again from Kansas. He is on camera. Jerry Long here doing some producing as this one is coming into the corner. It's a nice mark the other way. It's picked up nicely by, that's Messiano. This one, the wind is going to blow this. The wind blowing to our right, scooted through, and the ball has gone out of bounds. It'll be a boundary throw. Not a bad result for the Kangas.
Nashville seeing a little success on the rebound there. Their first goal actually scored on kind of a rebound play, that transition. They, again, successful here, although St. Louis stymied it briefly, but Nashville, undeterred, was able to just keep going back up that right wing.
Wind is about 7 miles an hour, of gusts of 15, says the tiny computer on my wrist. And the mark is taken out in front. I believe that might be Joel Friesen, number 5. I don't know. We don't have numbers. They're all Smith. That was off the side of his foot. Picked up, and then that's going to go out on the full and hopefully not into the neighbor's yard. Nope. There are spikes on top of that fence. If that ball goes over, that's going to be the corporate property.
Yeah, high security rate that we back up to here from the broadcast tent. We're not fetching a ball quickly, I think.
I was going to say
over there.
That's not in my salary bracket. As this one comes up to the top of the square off the foot of Duty, there was nobody back there. It's going to roll through for behind as McLean was there to give chase. That takes the score for Nashville on the 1-2-8. St. Louis, no score. Brian Barish, Dan Sarbacker. This is the first game of Division III. The other two teams in this group, off of memory, are, I'll tell you in just a second, I think it's Oklahoma and somebody else. It is Chicago and Oklahoma. They're playing over on Field 1.
Yeah, another interesting matchup. Be really curious to see. A lot of these clubs are getting going with their season now, a few games under their belt, so things should be settling in. Also curious, you mentioned the wind earlier. Do we have a 2-goal win this morning?
I would say that's probably a 2-goal win. It's 9-0 is the score, as that one went through for a behind. I believe our volunteers doing the scoreboard may have momentarily given that point to it should be 9. I think it's 9-0. I don't think.
Yeah, St. Louis had a behind earlier.
They did.
Yep.
All right. Well, glad one of us is paying attention.
Fair enough. Yeah, we'll see how much Nashville's benefiting from the breeze here. Everyone's knocking the sleep off a little bit first game of the morning, but
me too.
They're starting to exert themselves a little, creating more chances. St. Louis hasn't gotten up into their forward half much, but they've been resilient in defense.
8-1 the score. Watch AFL scoreboard as this one comes down the way. This one is sent in on the right foot. Good kick, but not handled cleanly. Goes off into the pocket. Picked up McLean. Ring around the collar and your whole wash clean. And in fact, it will be given as a free kick. St. Louis has not played a full game this season. And Des Moines went up to Minnesota and fell to the Freeze. So the way I've been counting that as a half a loss, which looks strange if you're not familiar. This is a free kick, by the way, as a nice mark was taken. So he's going to set up, try and extend the lead. The kick is up on the way. It is dead center, perfect, I think. Waiting on the signal, there it is from Sid Caesar in your show of shows. And the goal kick there by Messiano, who has been really a fixture in the forward line for the Kangaroos side. That takes them on to 2-14. St. Louis one score. Watch AFL scoreboard, Dan Sarbacker.
Yeah, a bit of extra drama and intrigue from the goal umpire there. His signal was ever so slightly delayed, which is always tough on us making the call. But Brian read it right. He didn't move. That was straight through the sticks. So Nashville's starting to pull away a little bit here. Sid,
one of the board members of the USAFL Umpires Association, a long-standing umpire in the USAFL and based in the D.C. area. He's a fixture at these tournaments, and we're glad to have him, and of course all of our umpires as well. They've come from all over the place, SARS, and while we have a moment, we have play action on the far side here. Our umpires are such a key part of our game, and a lot of them well-respected. I would say all of them well-respected in their craft. We'll get to that in a second. Here's another scoring opportunity, and that one goes out of bounds. I believe it did find the field of play. We'll find out in just a moment.
Yeah, the Umpires Association does a great job and really supportive. They're a massive resource for the league in terms of clubs getting that whistle to come to the games. There isn't always an umpire housed in the cities where the clubs are. We try to, of course, but they're extremely supportive of everything going on, and as clubs get games scheduled, the umpires are right there helping out, making games possible.
No score on that last play, and then they had put together a couple of passes together, sloppy handball there, and then going up to get it and coming back the other way. There are the Kangaroos in Saul Caramena, who's another veteran of this side.
I've been actually really impressed with the resiliency of the Blues. I think the way Nashville's played, they probably could be a couple more scores ahead, but the defensive pressure and the resiliency of the Blues side has been first-rate.
Indeed. They're a decent, they're a good side. Like you said, they're that D4 championship alongside Las Vegas a couple of years ago. As this one gets sent into the top of the goal square, it gets spit out the other way and then banged out, deflected in the air. That is not marked. It's caught as it was deflected. It's got to be caught cleanly, just like that, if you want to call it a mark, and a mark is taken.
We're stringing a few kicks together here, the Blues.
Ball got it, was in the wind there, and big tackle. And the umpire says it's mine, and we'll ball up directly in front of us. That, I believe, it is. That's Jay Hunter, Philadelphia's Jay Hunter, who is a long-time, played for Baltimore, Washington back in the day, then a fixture with the Philadelphia Crews, later the Hawks, won a premiership with them, and he's had a second career as an umpire, as that one is he just got his foot. McLean picks it up, shrugs away one tackle, finds a nice handball where he finds Proctor. Proctor sends that one to the top, overcooked the kick, looking for a free kick and got it, as Eastwood got pushed in the back there, and I think that's the right call.
Yeah, he sold it, and was it there? Probably, yes. He sold it. He's still holding his back as if he's going to hobble off here after he kicks this goal. But yeah, probably just enough that nudged him under the ball, and the umpire actually right there to see it.
14-1 the score. Eastwood with one goal, looking for his second. That's one going to tail left. Oh, I think that came back on the wind, but
not quite.
Not quite, as the umpire Sid Caesar sets out one finger as if he says you. And that's it. Watch AFL scoreboard, 2-3-15 Nashville, 1 point and only 1 point for the St. Louis Blues.
Either the club's starting to figure each other out and find some openings, or a little bit of fatigue setting in. That last build up the ground for the Blues and then the rebound for the Nashville, starting to finally see some open space where players are working.
Yeah, you're definitely starting to see it. And I think teams are still, like you said, they're shaking off the cobwebs. It is just after it's 20 after 9. A lot of these players drove here yesterday. We're about 6 hours from Nashville and about I want to say 10 hours or so from St. Louis.
That's a fair guess. Yeah, I wouldn't know it off the top of my head, but that's a fair guess.
Of course, we were here in 2014 for the USAFL Nationals. That was the last time we were at this ground. And is that our field?
No. Siren Blue, but I think that's next door to us. I see the Swans Tulsa teams walking off, so I think that's their siren.
They started a little bit before us. Ball comes spinning back in the play as it goes down the ground. Going to pick that one up, and the umpire, Jay Hunter, hugs himself because he's a good guy. He really is. And we'll have a ball up. It's funny when I see guys I played with still out there running around.
Yeah, and good on them for that, right?
Yeah. Of course, I was going to say this was the last game I played for Philadelphia was about 300 feet to our left here in Mason, Ohio in 2014. Here come the Blues. They haven't had a sustained chance, and Poe is able to take the mark. Can't miss him with the curly locks.
Yeah, he's a big unit and a big target, and the Blues linked up there through the middle to connect. That big booming kick out of halfback cleared the lines. Half forward ran underneath it, actually, but the Blues were able to run in numbers and collect that and then connect with Poe there.
15-1 the score is, I think he might have the distance here. I don't think the wind's with him. He puts it up on the way. It does hang up in the wind. It's going to drop short. Ball goes to ground. Going to be picked up. A chance for goal. And through for a behind. But St. Louis able to parry them well. And now it's back to a 13-point deficit as it is. They go to 2 on the Watch AFL scoreboard.
Blues got everything they wanted out of that sequence except for the 6.
Yeah. Ball comes back now the other way. It is 15-2 the score. They're going to try and link some of these up down the far side. Bounces through. Going to get picked up. Got sent down, and we're going to have a ball. We're going to have a free kick, I think. There's a lot of humanity over there. We're just trying to figure out somewhere in there is the football.
Yeah, I didn't see the umpire's signal, so I'm not actually sure what happened. And like you said, a big pile of bodies, so hard to make out.
That's our siren, and that's halftime. Or no, is that for? No, it is ours.
That should be us. Yeah.
That's going to be a theme throughout the course of the day.
Yeah.
Well, the wind had a lot to say about that. I think Nashville was slightly the better side. We're at halftime here of Game 1 of Division 3 here at the 2024 USAFL Super Regionals. The score, it's the Nashville Kangaroos with the Cleveland Cannons. 2 goals, 3 behinds, 15 points. And the Nashville Kangaroos / Cincinnati Dockers, St. Louis Blues / Cincinnati Dockers. We'll get there. 2 points. Halftime thoughts for Dan Sarbacker.
Yeah, again, I think not a stiff breeze, but enough of a breeze that might have been a 1 or 2 goal breeze. I agree with you, Brian. Nashville probably the better side in the first half there. Long day of footy ahead. Again, these clubs are probably thrilled to get the early time slot, even though they spent a lot of windshield time yesterday. But
yeah.
Get one of the games under their belt before the day gets a lot hotter and the fatigue really sets in. Some really great sequences from both sides. First bounce right away. There were probably 3 tackles on both sides of the ball there in the early minutes, and so the tone was set right out of the gate.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's the way it's going to. I think that's the way it's going to be, and it'll be interesting to see with St. Louis now kicking with the win in the second half. We're going to step aside, come right back for that second half. When we return, you're watching the 2024 USAFL Super Regionals from Dublin, Ohio, here on USAFL.com.
This presentation of the USAFL is brought to you by Tasmanian. Quietly pursue the extraordinary. Coopers. Australian made and owned. Coopers Beer. Aussie Sports USA. The official apparel provider of the USAFL. Odin Mortgage and Tax. Australian mortgages and taxation for expats and overseas residents. CyberSolve IQ. The inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. Two Hands Restaurant, fueling your lifestyle. Watch AFL. Stream every match overseas. Brown Brothers, family winemakers since 1889. HBC Event Services. Premier Sports Medicine. And the members of the USAFL.
Second half of this game between the Nashville Kangaroos and the St. Louis Blues underway here at the Darry Fields here in Dublin, Ohio. The Kangaroos lead by the score of 15-2. Brian Barish alongside Dan Sarbacker. Second half underway as the field going from left to right. The Kangaroos.
The sun doing the same. Brian and I were both turned around facing the other direction trying to toast the other sides of our body. So we missed the ball up there for a moment.
And flip as the ball is up on that far side once again, and it'll become a ball in. And the Blues are in the blue, as one would expect. They're heading from left to right. That one is off the shins of one of the Nashville players there. We'll bring up the old roster. And,
Yeah, I think, Brian, you mentioned the colors. I think one thing the USAFL is really done well is create some fun jumpers, and maybe even slightly more successful than the AFL at avoiding the jumper clash. So the Blues running in the dark blue today, and Nashville running in the white.
It's interesting as well, as the ball's up on that far side. St. Louis has a lot of stuff in the flag of St. Louis, which is red.
Yeah.
So it's a little interesting to see a team called the Blues wearing red. But, of course, they're linked to the Carlton Blues, the famous old dark blues from Melbourne in the AFL.
Blues with a big clearing kick out of the back here. This is what we've been really interested to see if they're able to utilize the wind in this half to their advantage.
Ball comes out to the near side once again, picked up on a hop as the handball goes in, circling around, looking for it again. There was the man in they hit this one out. Now here he is again. This one is sent in. That one was Messiano, and it ping-pongs out in front, a little chip across. St. Louis in battle stations at the moment trying to get the ball out. It's picked up. He jukes his way through. He ran like a loaf of bread, it looked like. That was Andrew Gleichert, the former tight end who was drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles back in the day. He looked like a running back there sprinting through the offensive line, and unfortunately when you carry it into the house like that, you don't get 6 points, you only get 1. And on the Watch AFL scoreboard, Nashville now leads 16-2.
Yeah, instincts took over there. He definitely tucked that under his arm, put his head down, and saw his target 10 meters away, but needed to get the ball to boot to get the 6 in this sport.
Ball goes now St. Louis as they have tried to answer, and that one goes sailing away Christopher Cross style, and we'll have a free kick the other way.
Yeah, good opportunity there for the Blues. Really quick rebound after the last sequence. I think Messiano, I think you mentioned earlier, he's starting to rack up some possessions for Nashville. He seems to be a key playmaker. 3 possessions on that last sequence when they moved the ball into their forward line.
Yeah, they've got he may have a case of leather poisoning by the end of this. By the end of this one, as the ball gets set to be put back into play off the free kick, sails over everybody's head, going to drop in front of the man in Dane Plemons, who's one of the those returning players for Cleveland. That one didn't travel 15. That should be out on the full, I think.
It did make contact below the knee, but I think they're going to play a
throw.
Looks like they're going to play a throw in here, which is
I'm okay with that. That's a difficult call to make because the umpire had essentially, he didn't have a full-on view of that. So I'm okay with that. We have a better view in this place, but it's that's St. Louis now back the other way. And then all the way back again, that's Filchak, who's trying to get it out. He was on one side of the field, now the other. And that one is a rush behind.
Again, the pressure mounting here. He was happy enough to take that over for a rush behind. They're struggling to get out of the back. The Blues' pressure's been good.
Brendan Feely, that was the number 20, and that takes them on at 17-3 now. As a little shovel pass. That one is sent into the top and marked again by Feely. Don't call me A.J. Feely. As the ball is up on the far side.
Bend, but don't break. That's what we're seeing here from the Nashville defense. They've yet to concede a major score, but the Blues are knocking.
Knocking on heaven's door, as Robert Zimmerman once said. This one is sent in on the way. Umpire shimmies to his right and will assign 1 point. And that is the 4th behind of the game for St. Louis. They trail Nashville 2-5-17 on the Wash AFL scoreboard.
Yeah, a couple kicks from that same distance in the first half, and they couldn't quite make the distance then. This one obviously clear, but not on target.
Almost choked on my water in the process as they was looking for Plemons, who goes and picks that one up and then dropped it. And then the ball is still in play, except the whistle blew, and I think we're going to have a ball up.
Nashville's been happy enough to target this back pocket here as they're trying to build out. Not real successful with it. Blues have rebounded every time, but maybe Nashville's happy enough because they haven't conceded that goal yet.
Free kick here, and the mark is taken by Proctor. He'll play on quickly down the line, looking for Filchak, can't get to it. Ball goes to ground, picked up, and a little bootleg action, and then taken down. Filchak, again, a little bit overzealous, taking the man down after across the shoulders there, and that is a free kick. And he didn't give the ball straight back, perhaps risking a 50, but it's a free kick to St. Louis Stars.
Clearing out that protected space. Not all the players probably fully understand that, but we're back underway now.
The ball goes to ground, and St. Louis again trying to get it forward. Now Nashville again working towards the Bob Seeger side, which is against the wind, as this one is kicked up on the far side now. It's going to roll, it's going to skip, it's going to hop, it's going to bounce. There is nobody out there. There could be somebody having tea over there, and they wouldn't have been in any sort of danger until the ball comes through, and then it does travel out of bounds at a boundary throw it upcoming.
Yeah, nothing in particular out of this play, but net result might be okay. I think the Blues are going to be happy if the ball does go out on the boundary on that far side, that far pocket, and then working back to the middle, the wind's going to help them redirect towards goal at that point.
Nashville 17, St. Louis 4. As we mentioned, Nashville with players from the Cleveland Cannons, and St. Louis alongside players from the Cincinnati Dockers. A lot of old names in this league. This in the USAFL in its 27th season, and this one is sent in. We'll harp on that in just a moment. The ball does go out of bounds. St. Louis, one of the two original, Cincinnati, one of the two original clubs alongside Louisville. St. Louis, 1998. Nashville, 1997.
Yeah, old-time clubs in the league, been around a long time. And Brian, that's the beauty of club sports, and it's unfamiliar to a lot of Americans where sports are so school-centric. Play in your high school. If you're good enough, you play at your university. But in a club atmosphere, you play as long as you like. So you'll see guys out here still fit in their late 30s, 40s, even some guys in their 50s getting a run.
Howell couldn't get to it, and or he had like a really just shocking kick as this one is played back, goes out in the middle of the ground, but a nice intercept mark. And didn't get a whole lot of berries on that kick, unfortunately. Sends it back from whence it came, and a good, nice, strong mark in defense.
Yeah, a bit casual there on the kick. That releasing kick should have been a bigger kick out of halfback for Nashville. In the end, no damage done because another intercept mark on their halfback line.
Picked up on a hop, runs 14.8 meters, kicks this one up high, drops in front, one-on-one contest. Good battle there for the footy. Able to bounce away, picked up by McLean. McLean looks in front. Nice spoil coming in over the top, and he ends up winning the football as a result. Sent back on the far side now, but Howe can't got it. Oh, he ducked under a tackle nicely. Little 1-2 with McLean. Got the ball back, did duty this time, but he was held, and he is gone. It'll be a free kick to St. Louis.
Boy, I thought Nashville was away, but here again, a theme for the day. The pressure has been excellent, and St. Louis rose to the occasion and was able to thwart that effort.
Only 13 points back, not quite out of it just yet, as we have, I would say, roughly 11 minutes to go. We did start our watch a little bit late. And we have, again, two 20-minute halves. Both of these teams will play Chicago and Oklahoma in their last two games.
Numbers streaming forward here, at least the half forward and half back numbers for St. Louis. The midline's a little slow to recover, so we'll see.
Oh, taken down.
Another great tackle. And tackle counts are mounting.
James Harden, not that one with the beard who plays basketball, but the other James Harden, although he probably looked like the basketball James Harden. Plemons gets it back off of the man in Harden, who has come all the way back. He sends that one onto the foot. It'll drop in front. And St. Louis is able to get position, pushing the back, yep.
Really cleverly done by the St. Louis Blues player there. He knew he was under the pump, but was able to position his body in such a way that he earned the foul when he probably didn't have many other options.
Ian Eastwood there, but all of that comes to naught as Proctor comes up and takes the mark. Proctor had a good parallel cup for the Revos last season. Sends this one into the middle of the ground. Drops in front of Howell. He's able to get it on the second attempt, able to shimmy away from one defender. Now it's McLean. This is good ball movement as Plemons sends this one forward. Looks go into the pocket there. And going to be picked up. That's not us. That was Comstock up on the far side who couldn't get to it. And now going over to get it. And shoved in the back. And again, a rolling maul situation. Player gets taken down. And again, Plemons shoves to the inside, sends this one going across. Shoveled forward, and then it is Feely again, who sends this one into the middle. And now here comes Nashville against the grain and against the run of play. Proctor turns and fires this one towards the sticks. It skips by everybody, and that's going to find its way to the house. Woo! Sometimes inertia is all you need, and Nashville with a back-breaking goal, I think, as we're past the halfway point in this final term, as they go on to 3-5-23 on the Watch AFL scoreboard.
Yeah, it's in these shorter tournament format games. Those getting those 6 points, and especially on a play like that, really critical. What broke that free, Brian, was a little tunneling handball on the halfback line. It was a rebound situation for Nashville. The only option was to scoot that ball actually underneath traffic, but that allowed 3 Nashville players to run on and bring that ball back forward.
Yeah, good ball movement by the Nashville is a good side. I think they're underrated because they usually play down in Division 3, sometimes down in Division 4, but every time they come together, and it doesn't matter who they latch on with whoever they play with, and they're doing the same thing with Cincinnati. They latch on with whoever they play with so well. They're disciplined, they're athletic, and they work the play really well. You would think this was a bunch of Australians playing.
Oh, the standard's been good. I think the fundamentals of the game are there. The handballs have been linking up. In the end, I think sometimes the skills let the guys down a little bit, and they're not able to actually fully execute all the sequences. But at the loose balls, 2 or 3 handballs to break free, it's happening, and the game's been clicking along quite pleasantly.
Yeah, it has been. Mo Howell over there really kind of wreaking havoc, and just really pressuring the football, and he earns a free kick. It does well.
Players, I think, benefiting from a little bit smaller oval here. We're fitting 3 ovals into this park. That keeps the proximity of the ball closer, so guys have been able to apply that pressure more easily.
All in a straight line. There's a chance at the sticks, and that has gone through. Another goal, I believe, off the foot of Howell. He may have had another foot there in the process, and now Nashville's starting to kick away. Watch AFL scoreboard. The Kangas 4-5-29, just 4 points for St. Louis.
Yeah, pulling away a little here. Glad to see that kick straighten out there. He's had a few kicks he was probably disappointed in earlier that just missed their mark, not goal kicks, but to teammates. And there he was able to square up his hips and shoulders and really drive that straight through the sticks.
Yeah, it's been a fantastic display there, and St. Louis, look, they're still offering resistance at this point. And you don't want to see too much signs of fatigue, because again, these teams have 2 more games. They'll have essentially a 1-hour break. They'll have an hour to warm up, and then they're going to be back at it again. So they got to try and conserve as much energy as possible. They have to do that 2 more times.
Yeah, it's actually considerably more fatiguing to do that with breaks and stuff in the middle, to get the body up and down and recover and such in between. Were you to do that same workload consecutively, much less taxing on the body. But these tournament formats are really tough on the athletes in that way.
JD able to get this one down. Howell again, another possession, shovels this one into the middle, but it's going to be picked up. Good hassle of the football and the kick. Then this one is kicked out nicely to the near side. One-on-one contest. Nice mark, and then he's going to play on. Sending this one down the line again was Harden, and it's picked off, and that ends that.
Dave Zitko there. He's been a tough nut on the halfback line and rebounded a lot of this stuff of Nashville.
Nice connection.
And he connected his kick there as well. Oh, this one.
And that one, that did just catch the chalk, and then bounces out, and we'll have a boundary throw-in.
Yeah, you'd want that one again. Zitko connecting off the halfback line, intercept mark, working up the boundary here. You'd want to see that inboard pass a little bit more there. He didn't catch it cleanly off the boot. in the end, boundary throw, not the worst result for St. Louis, but they're not making much of it here.
Not at all. And this one is sent back into the middle. Once again, Nashville racking up the time of possession as this one drops in front, bounces away from Harden. Zitko for St. Louis. A little handball about. This is good look. This is a good look as this one is sent forward. As freezing that was for St. Louis, and this one is sent in down the line. This is Holden Thomas for Cleveland, and as the ball goes up on that far side now.
Brian, I think, I maybe even venture St. Louis maybe has had a little bit better of the linking up through hands through this. Nashville's athleticism, I think, has shown here a bit more speed, a bit more class. Their timing and stuff off of loose balls has maybe been a little better than St. Louis. Is St. Louis a little more reactive at times?
Here they come cutting through. Proctor is going to send this one down and into the top of the goal square now. Going to get picked off. I think he stopped all of a sudden. He turns it over. Eastwood, almost from this angle, I don't know that was a handball, but he got it off nonetheless. He gets it back, squaring up for his third, and this one is going to get taken by the wind and taken out of bounds. Looks like it did just find the field of play, and we'll have a boundary throw in as we welcome all of our viewers on USAFL.com. Nashville will figure out the score bug in just a moment, but we'll tell you the Nashville Kangaroos lead the St. Louis Blues 29-4. It's Brian Barish alongside former USA Revolution player and current coach Dan Sarbacker.
Yeah, good morning to everyone joining us. Get the feed up and going here. Beautiful day. First round of games here this morning, and we got views of all three here, but we're focused on this one here in Nashville and St. Louis.
Yeah, this is a Division III match. There are 4 teams in all 3 of the men's divisions, and we've got 3 teams of the women's division. We'll keep you as abreast as we can of all the scores from the other fields as well. And a reminder as well, we'll be stationed at this field all day. The women's matches we'll have for you on tape delay. And as we play on here, we have, I would say, about 3 minutes to go in this second half. Up on the far side now as this one goes picked up, little shovel pass, sends this one up high, and marked by McLean over the back. He's going to play quickly. McLean finds a target there in the guy from Cleveland, and in Messiano. Messiano goes in short, gets the ball back, tries to dance away, sends this one high in the air, coming over to get it, and it was almost Plemons. Plemons was almost able to get it, and this one is shoveled on. Sends this one back, going to get picked up, and here comes St. Louis the other way. The game's too far gone, but you want to help that percentage a little bit. If you're not familiar, percentage is essentially like point differential. Duty sends this one out to the near side, and the mark taken in front of us by Proctor.
Yeah, a few minutes ago, McLean and Messiano, and then a St. Louis rebound. That's been a microcosm of the game. Those 2 players, I think, have racked up quite a few touches for the Nashville side. Blues, a lot of bend but don't break, but Nashville has snuck through for a few majors here and there and then been resilient enough from defense to take us to where we are currently.
Oh, and he was taken down was Filchak. He has played a couple of years, Matt Filchak, but he looks like a gridiron player that just has kind of wandered in. He's got great athleticism. I think the skills and I think the sense. I think once that comes along, he's going to be a handy player.
Yeah, the pace of the games is different. Gridiron being, push the pile of bodies. Most of that happens all in front of you.
Marked! Oh, sorry to interrupt there, but
right.
That was dropped in front by Eastwood took the mark. And Filchak did get a free kick out of all of that. And Eastwood was just kind of camped out with 2 other players there.
Yeah, I was about to utter the words 360-degree game, and I didn't have my head on a swivel. The wind hung that ball up and actually kept it in the field of play. And
Eastwood, I think, has sent that one through behind the stick. That's the other thing. There's so many goalposts over there. They kind of blend together. It is a behind, so 1 more to the total. That's a cricket term, as we've been watching a lot of the World Cup lately.
Yeah.
That takes them on to 4-6-30. St. Louis still looking for their first major score on 4 points, but there's JD as James Duty, who is I believe he's the captain of the Kangaroos, was the president for a time. Centers the ball across the ground, and it's marked again by William Proctor.
Good ball use there. I found that centering pass, and that's probably in range, although it might be a bit ambitious again with the wind. he's got a big thumping kick, but it's let him down a fair few times today.
Less than 30 seconds to go in this one, and in fact, there is the siren, and that is that. So the Nashville Kangaroos have opened their account on the Super Regionals day with a 26-point victory. The final score on the Watch AFL scoreboard, it's the Nashville Kangaroos with the Cleveland Cannons, 4 goals, 6 behinds, 30 points, while the St. Louis Blues with the Cincinnati Dockers just 4 points. You know, a good game overall. It didn't look that way on the scoreboard, but St. Louis hung with them all way. It was close for about the first half. Nashville with a couple of early goals in the second half against the win. That was the difference.
Yeah. Again, these small format games. A couple of goals might be the difference. In this effort, we talked about the tackling that we saw very early, and of course that gets us excited. We got a long day, very fun day of footy ahead, and to see that right out of the gate is awesome. But the pressure really never let up, although the game did open up a tiny bit more as it transpired. But really a great effort from both sides, a lot of linking up with handballs. Again, I think the kicking let some guys down at times. They weren't able to sort of finish off the final legs of those sequences. But some really good football, and I'm pumped, Brian. We're going to see a lot of fun stuff today.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll have to see how the rest of the day plays out. We still have 8 more games here on field 2, and we are going to be changing streams, I think, is what we're going to be doing, something along those lines. No, you're going to keep it right here, and in a few minutes we'll have the next game in Division 2 as the hometown Columbus Cats take on the Des Moines Roosters. So for those of you coming back, we'll see you in a few minutes. If not, we've enjoyed your company. Dan Sarbacker alongside me, Brian Barish, with Craig Campbell and Jerry Long punching the controls behind us. You're watching the 2024 USAFL Super Regionals here on USAFL.com.
This presentation of the USAFL is brought to you by Tasmanian. Quietly pursue the extraordinary. Coopers. Australian made and owned. Coopers Beer. Aussie Sports USA. The official apparel provider of the USAFL. Odin Mortgage and Tax. Australian mortgages and taxation for expats and overseas residents. CyberSolve IQ, the inaugural cybersecurity partner of the USAFL. Two Hands Restaurant, fueling your lifestyle. Watch AFL, stream every match overseas. Brown Brothers, family winemakers since 1889. HBC Event Services, Premier Sports Medicine, and the members of the USAFL.